So they went away and had a think about it, and then come back again, and they put another offer in, and I was like, yeah, that's the number we was happy to accept. So we've accepted, which means we've officially sold.
Sold! Yay!
Again. Hello and welcome back to the channel for another week of chaos, as it is, how it feels every week at the moment. I've got no idea how it's.
And as we've worked out, it is going to get even more chaotic, but we will explain the reasons why later. So to start up this week, we kind of alluded to a bit of goings on with the house at the end of last week's vlog.
We did. And I can't quite remember what we said. So
we confirmed that we have put the house back up for sale.
Yes.
Going against our original plan. And I can't quite remember if we said the reason why we decided to do that was because we've been keeping a check on Rightmove, and a lot of the houses on our estate in this side of where we live had sold, despite even our estate agent and us believing that the summer holidays were going to be a bit of a non-event for house selling. We saw that, obviously, as I said, all of the houses sold. So we contacted our estate agent and said, we've noticed a bit of activity.
Yeah, there's a bit going on, and there's a bit of people
movement,
and we're essentially all of the houses that are in our price bracket within this estate, and it's quite a sought after estate because the schooling and zoning things
and the size of house that we've got,
they'd all sold. So we're kind of like,
let's put it back up.
Let's put it back on
and see what happens.
So we did, and that was a week ago.
Yeah, it was a week ago yesterday, so Friday, so yeah.
Did it go back on the Friday or the Thursday?
Oh, it might have been the Thursday, actually, tell a lie. So yeah, just over a week.
I think it went back on the Thursday, sort of midday. Friday morning last week, we then got a phone call from the estate agent saying somebody is in the area looking at other properties a little bit further away. They had originally purchased a house on this estate and it all fell through for whatever reason.
But they specifically wanted to be on this estate, to be in the catchment for the primary school for this estate, because it is a feeder school for the best high school in the area, and quite a sought after school. So he called around about midday, said they wanted to come out the same day to have a look, and we was like, it's a 6-week holiday, nobody's really done anything. The house, it looks like somebody's not done anything for 2 weeks. Well, I mean, come on, mums, you get this. Dads, when the kids are at home during the 6 weeks holiday, is there really any point in literally spending your entire day following them round and picking up? You're kind of almost better off just leaving the savages to it and sorting it out at the end of the school holidays.
Most of my 6 weeks holiday so far has been telling a child of some sort to go and get rid of the rubbish they've left somewhere.
Yeah.
Get rid of the bowls they've left somewhere. Or moving the pants.
Exactly.
That's pretty much what I spent my entire...
You know where I'm coming from. So we hadn't really,
It wasn't necessarily messy, but it wasn't necessarily house viewing worthy.
No.
So we rallied the troops and went crazy and tidied her up and made everything look pretty again.
Yes.
And they came out at about 5:30 on the Friday.
They did.
And then they went away. There was static about the house. They loved everything about it. That was the initial feedback we had from the estate agent. The Saturday, they called our estate agent and said they're going to make an offer.
And they literally called him at 9 o'clock Saturday morning.
So the second his phone was available. And eventually they came back on Monday of this week to put an offer in. It was I think the first offer they came back with, I said no. So they went away and had a think about it, and then come back again, and they put another offer in, and I was like, yeah, that's the number we was happy to accept. So we've accepted, which means we've officially sold.
Sold! Yay! Again.
Now, the benefit to this one is there's very, very little chain.
They basically have got a first-time buyer purchasing their house. So, in theory, there's just like the three of us in the chain.
And I think their house has already progressed sort of 4 or 5 weeks, so they're already sort of
into
progressed.
The process.
And it happens to be a family member that are buying off them. So again, they obviously already know who they are and everything else. So
element of certainty to their
crossed, it's pretty straightforward. Because they're already progressed quite well. Because we already had our previous sale progressed and then fell through, it also means that our solicitors have already got a load of
stuff already done.
Early parts of the documentation already done. In fact, we was at a point last time where we were sent contracts to be signed, which means they're probably in the same sort of place. There might be a few tweaks that need to be made.
Yeah.
But fundamentally, it's the same thing. So all of the checks their end have been done, all the AMLs have been done, all the affordability, mortgages in place, blah, 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 blah. So yeah, it's all looking very positive, touch wood. We are sat in front of a oak top table, so touch wood.
Keeping everything crossed again.
It all goes to plan. So with that, with the fact that we've got the interview in place for sort of towards the end of September, medical's now in place as well, we've kind of put a pin in a date for actually moving, assuming all goes to plan. Now we don't need the house to complete and have sold completely for us to be able to move over. It'd be ideal, so I haven't got to worry about trying to do it remotely, but it's not a necessity. So we've kind of put a pin in a date in the later part of October. We've given an actual date. We're not going to tell you yet because we're going to make it exciting when we actually get closer to the time, and we'll tell you what it is.
But you obviously already know that we have Mickey's Not So Scary booked.
And that was for the end
so
of October.
That's at the very end of October. That's giving you some, indications of thought process anyway.
Yes. So the downside to that is we've then sat and looked at the calendar today.
And this is where the chaos comes in.
And realised that date is only about 9 weeks away.
9 to, 12 weeks.
Yeah.
Depending on when we can get the flights for.
Yeah. That's not very long.
No. And do you know what? I went round and counted all the areas in the house that need to be sorted. Like sorting out the stuff that we definitely don't need anymore. Stuff that really just needs to go to the tip. Stuff that could potentially be sold on Vinted. Things that could just be sent to a charity shop. And I worked out that we actually have 13 areas in the house. And we're talking about some big ones, like the loft, the garage, the garden, which are going to take whole weekends in themselves.
We don't have that many weekends.
We don't.
We don't have many weekends at all. So
not when you factor in the fact that we've got things like the medical to go to and the interview to go to.
Yeah, and then I've got an exhibition that I'm going to.
Which means you're going to be away.
Which also means I've lost the Sunday because I'm travelling down on the Sunday because I've got a meeting on the Monday morning.
Yes. So now we're thinking,
Oh. Yeah.
We better start.
I'm still sat here thinking, oh my God.
Now he's thinking maybe my thought process of when I want to go, but it's not as achievable.
It's achievable. We just got to try harder. That's the plan. To try harder. That's the way life is. You put a pin in a date and you make it happen.
Yeah,
that's the way we operate.
So we've got to get motivated. We've got to get moving, and that means starting today.
So there is big sort outs, wardrobes, clothes.
So we're starting. And now you will have seen. Well, no, you won't have seen yet because it was asked in the comments from last week's video that we kind of video the decluttering process. So I may kind of start doing that and adding it in as we've got to start doing it every week going forward. Perhaps not at the end of the start. It's not starting this week because I've not even edited any of that yet. But I did make a start with my shoes, which was quite an extensive sort out, to be honest.
I've been into
and I'll put the clip
shops.
in here to show you what I mean.
I've been into shoe shops but they've got less shoes in them.
Yeah, and honestly, I barely wear any of them these days. So
I don't even know where have you had them?
I don't even know
The
how
bag
it
that you
happened, why it
filled-
happened.
The bag that you filled of ones that are no good just to go to the charity shop, tip whatever it is they're going to,
Yeah.
versus the pile.
That we're selling
pile,
on a...
selling on vintage.
And the ones that
it's
I've
filled.
kept.
And then the ones you've kept. I don't understand where you've kept them all.
Neither do I. So,
You don't have
yeah.
enough space in the house. Where have they all been?
I don't really know. And I've not done the shoe cupboard yet either. So, yeah. And that was just shoes. So today we are making it, we're going to do a room. So we're starting with what is effectively our dressing room.
I actually think the shipping bill for moving the furniture and all the other stuff will become half when we've got rid of half your shoes.
Potentially, but they were all going in the 12 cases that we're taking.
No, they won't.
So yeah, that is what we're going to do today, is the dressing room. So I will record that today to go into next week's vlog, so that you can see a bit of us going through that process. And we're going to kind of make a plan of throughout the weekends doing it a room at a time. And the reason we're going to be quite organised about it is so that we can almost shut a door on a room and know that we've got it to a point where Pickfords could come in
And just
pack it and be done.
I say Pickfords.
Or we can.
I say Pickfords. We haven't decided exactly who's doing that
No,
yet.
but
Pickfords
that's
have just been
where
the
we're
ones that
basing our costs at the moment.
And Pickfords have been the ones that we've progressed the furthest.
Yes.
But yeah, we're still going to do a bit of a...
You're going to get some more quotes. You know, that's a business thing, isn't it? 3 quotes all the time.
Yeah. I had 3 quotes last time and I'm going to get them to do it.
Yeah.
I'm going to get them to do it again.
So that's what the chaos that we've got to get through. And it's going to be things like, as I said, the loft, the garage, the garden. These are going to be like kind of whole weekend jobs.
But the
really.
differentiation here is that we're looking to move things that aren't coming with us. So a lot of the time here, and I'm sure everybody watching this video does exactly the same thing, if you're moving a house, there's things that you'll pick up and you'll go, well, I don't need it at the moment, but I might need it.
Yeah.
Or I don't want to get rid of that because, whereas we've got to look at things and go, it's never going to get used. You know, the climate, for a start, is going to be vastly different
Yes.
to what it is here. So half of the clothing that we've got won't be needed. We have said we're going to be sensible and keep a case, maybe 2, of wintry clothes here.
Yeah.
Because inevitably we're going to be coming back at some point, and it's pretty much winter for 9 months of the year here. So,
And I think we also need to take some of our perhaps more couple of wintry or warmer outfits to take with us, because if we decide to travel to a different state that's got a different climate, we might need something a bit warmer.
a hoodie. That's all I'm going to take. Or 2 hoodies maybe, so I've got to wash and wear.
Yeah.
Shorts forever.
Did you not talk once about wanting to do an Alaskan cruise?
That's a good point.
So we need to kind of be realistic when we're going through everything.
Yes.
So if you're going through this same process, then you think, oh, I've got ages, nothing's happening, it's all going to be quite slow. All of a sudden, it slaps you in the face and goes, you need to pick yourself up by the bootstraps and crack on.
Yeah, so some of the other things that we've started looking at, which we'll share more details on, we'll go into more detail as we get further along. We've been looking at things like when we first get there, where are we staying? How are we getting there? The logistics of the fact that I've got to come back and get the dogs. So I'll go through some of the stuff about what we're looking to do about transporting the dogs and then getting them to Florida. That's all stuff that we're looking at the moment, and it's going to be stuff that we start to book, because we can't leave it until after the interview, because the problem we have there is that the dates book out with some of the flights and stuff for the dogs. So
some of it we're going to have to take a bit of a gamble on.
Yeah, now the benefit is the 2 companies that do the pet flying, which is where I can take the dogs into the cabin with me. With 2 dogs, it actually works out cheaper. So it's not a thing where it's, I want to take my dogs in the cabin with me. It's more about the fact that it's actually more cost effective when you've got 2 dogs rather than 1. So the 2 airlines that offer that, or the 2 companies that offer that, the benefit they do have is if you do book a flight, and for whatever reason you can't make it, I think as long as you give them sufficient notice, whilst you necessarily can't, whilst you not be able to get a refund, you get a voucher so you can book it for a future date. So if anything goes wrong, the only downside to that is if the visa doesn't happen.
Which is why, to some extent, you've got to take a bit of a gamble on some of it.
I mean, you can always sell the ticket to somebody else.
Potentially, if you're allowed to do that.
Yeah, you can. I've seen other people do it.
But I think the good thing at the moment is the flights that you've earmarked for that are already confirmed flights. So even if you did need to move the date,
the
you're
two or
not
three flights
jeopardising the potential for that flight being able to go or not go.
No.
So that's a positive on that front.
So we've also looked at flights for ourselves.
We have.
There's availability at the moment, and again, we're kind of thinking, do we book them?
And pay the extra for like the flexible flight, so that if we need to move it, we don't need to pay to move it. But interestingly, and this is the really frustrating part about when you're looking at flights for us, is that we know we only need to fly one way. And it is scary, the prices that it comes out at if you look at just booking one way with some airlines.
Yeah, so I don't know if anybody's actually looked at this or done this in the past. So if you book a flight one way, if you book a return flight, obviously you're scheduling on a date in the future that you're going to be coming back on. Now the silly thing is, when you're booking flights, so flights just on their own, not when you're booking a package holiday, that flight could be 6 months down the line. As long as you can demonstrate that you're allowed to be in the States for that period of time, when you go to the airport, they're going to go, oh, okay, then no questions asked. The frustrating thing is because we know we're going to book one way, so practically we're like, oh, we'll only book one way seats.
Yeah.
Most of the airlines bar one flying from the UK, they charge you double or more for a one-way flight versus a return flight.
Yeah, and we're talking thousands and thousands of pounds in difference.
Yeah, one of the airlines we looked at, I think it was roughly, on the dates we were looking at flying, it was for the family of four in premium.
Going out, and then...
No, so premium flights both ways, it was about $4,500.
Yeah.
If I changed it to a one-way flight, still premium, it was $9,000. Oh, it was 2,300 and something quid, so just over $9,000. So it was more than double for a one-way flight.
Yeah.
Now the stupidity of that is the fact that we know we're not getting on the flight coming back.
But it makes more sense to book a return flight and not get on the flight.
Yeah, but that's a wasted 4 seats.
I mean, that's just, I can't get my head around it.
And ironically, it only does it that way. If you actually look at booking flights the other way, so from sort of Orlando back here, it doesn't.
No.
Or it's not as bad. I think there's still a small
supplement,
thing, but it's not quite as bad. And really frustratingly, the other thing I've been looking at as well. So obviously, as I mentioned, I've got to fly back at some point once we've moved over to come back and get the dogs, and then I'll be flying back again. So I've been looking at the sort of return flights just for me to come back on. And there's return flights that you can fly on that you can't get going the other way, which doesn't make any sense. Surely those planes have got to go back to get someone so I'll give you a good example. When I fly back, I want to try and get back as close to where we live or where our family lives. So the nearest airport to us is Birmingham. So I was like, okay, well, how do I get back to Birmingham the most efficient way? There's 3 or 4 airlines, I think. I think you can fly with Air France. I think you can fly with Iceland Air. They're changeover flights, so you have to fly into like Charles de Gaulle in Paris, or you have to fly into Reykjavik in Iceland. But they then both fly back into Birmingham. But if you look around the same dates to try and go back the other way, because I figured, if they fly this way and they're actually reasonably competitive with their pricing, maybe we can use them to go the other way. And they don't exist.
It's bonkers, isn't it?
So how does that work?
You have to book it all individually, I assume.
Well, yeah, you have to essentially book a flight from Birmingham to Charles de Gaulle, and then the changeover times are like 5 hours.
Yeah.
But coming back, it's an hour. It's just really strange how all the flight plans work. But anyway.
So that's, So logistics-wise of figuring out getting there and getting back. So if anybody understands the reason why the airlines from here charge so much for a one-way flight? If you could let us know in the comments below, because it just seems outlandish.
Because obviously the flight cost is only a small proportion of the amount of money you spend, and a lot of it's the airport taxes and the fees and duties and everything you pay.
Yeah.
But then if you're then not coming back the other way,
they haven't got to pay that.
Well, exactly.
I know you might think, but they've got a guaranteed seat coming back. But it doesn't just. But you could book it for half that cost, booking the return. So why is it so much to not have that return seat? Yeah. So if anybody understands or knows the reason why, just please let me know. It's just because I'm curious.
Yeah. It'd be fascinating to understand why they charge more money. It makes sense.
So that's the flights thing. And then we said we were looking at what we're going to do when we first get there. Because the issue we've got, originally our thought process was we'll use our DVC points and go and book somewhere and stay using that. So we haven't got the outlay of an initial bit of accommodation.
Yeah. And we can't do that.
We can't.
Because we're starting...
the DVC resorts
are booked. So typically it happens anyway. But certainly when you get towards that latter part of the year, October half term, whilst it's only half term here, that seems to be quite a busy period anyway.
Food and wine
festivals on. Then you start getting into November, so you've got the sort of build up to Christmas. You've got Halloween inside. You've got Thanksgiving coming up in the sort of later part of November, and then you've got Christmas in December. So that sort of latter 2.5 to 3 months always seems to be busy. We've noticed that anyway. And because we've left it later to do anything, there's no availability for a long period.
A sustained period.
So we were going to look at doing DVC for 2 weeks, and we're going to say somewhere like Saratoga Springs or something. Saratoga's really well placed to be able to get to where we need to get to. For sort of the places that we're looking at living, so we can go and do house searching and everything. But we've left it too late, and there's now no availability, or not enough joined up availability anyway.
Consecutive nights.
So we've been looking at a villa instead, renting
Airbnbs,
so we looked at Airbnb.
We looked on Booking.com,
Expedia, and all the usual places. Really oddly, I say oddly, it's not. It's because Airbnb make their cut.
Yeah.
We found the same villas on Airbnb as we have on Booking.com. And there's two things to highlight here, and I don't know if anybody else has ever noticed this. Feel free to comment below if you've seen this yourself when you've been looking. Really obscurely, Airbnb are typically more expensive, like for like. So if you're staying on the same date, literally the same villa, they tend to be slightly more expensive, about 10%. So I'm guessing that's Airbnb's fees and the people that are renting them out trying to make sure they get the same money, regardless of who they book through. But like cancellation,
dates are different,
and like vastly.
And obviously, at the time being, we need to safeguard anything that we do try to book, on the basis that if, touch wood, it's not going to be the case, that the visa doesn't happen, that we're not going to lose any money. We need to minimise our loss.
Yeah.
So we need as long a kind of cancellation period as we can possibly get, even if things end up taking longer than we actually want, because we also knew when we said that booking Mickey's Not So Scary, we booked it and paid the extra for their cancellation insurance, so that if we aren't able to get there, we at least won't lose the money for the tickets. So we are trying to safeguard as much as possible.
Yeah.
Any outlay.
And there's like weeks of difference in cancellation. I'm not talking like 2 days. Some of the places we've looked at where we're looking at booking, say, for the end of October, their cancellation kicks in at like 22nd of September. And then there's other ones where they're the 14th of October. So it's literally 2 weeks before. Now that could just be that the people renting the properties, they dictate minimum cancellation periods and stuff. I don't know. But they're different between platforms. So looking at the same villa on 2 different platforms, the cancellation periods are different. So anybody looking, whether it's for moving there and having somewhere as a temporary stay, or whether you're looking at vacations, have a look at the different platforms for what you're looking for, because you may find the same villa on, say, Booking.com as you can find on Airbnb or another villa rental platform for less money
with a longer cancellation
period. The other thing to consider, and this was something I found by accident, But really obscurely, if you book just one day either way, it can make a massive difference to the price.
Because you looked for
Yeah,
21 or 22 nights.
So it's 21 nights. So we kind of figured 3 weeks, that should be sufficient enough for us to be able to get there, do the bits and pieces that we need to do to be able to get into a rental, a long-term rental.
Yeah.
So we looked at a date originally for 3 weeks. Roughly, off the top of my head, it came out like £4,500 for the 3 weeks to stay there. Nice villa in the Four Corners, Davenport area.
Because ultimately you can only get short-term rentals in those kind of areas, not in the area we want to live. So we've got no option of a short-term rental in the area we want to be.
But we know that already.
So we know that already.
So that's why we've focused in those areas. But we've tried to get as close as possible. So because we're going to be travelling virtually every day looking at properties up in that area, so we don't want like an hour drive each way. So anyway, I looked at 3 weeks, looking at a specific date, getting there October for 3 weeks, and it came out about £4,500. And then a couple of days later, we started toying with, okay, well, what about if we do this? What about if we fly slightly earlier? Because there's some variation in the thought process in what we've been looking at. I changed the dates on the villa to be 4 weeks, and it was £800 cheaper.
Yeah, I mean, get that. For longer, but less money.
So 4 weeks, and it was flying like, it was getting there 3 days earlier.
Yeah.
So if you've got some flexibility in your travel arrangements and you are able to fly maybe a day early or 2 days earlier, or you can look to add a couple of days onto your holiday, even if you're going for 3 weeks on a vacation, just add a couple of days on the end.
And just see
if it makes a difference to price. It's just a bit of a cost-saving thing. Obviously, the people that you're renting the villa from, they're still getting paid what they were anticipating or expecting to get paid, so there's no detriment to the people you're renting from. And if you leave a couple of days early, it just gives them time to get their people in to do the cleaning earlier on and stuff. So it's not, I don't see any downsides. But just something to consider for anybody who's looking to do it, like I say, like what we're doing. Longer stays, or if you're just going on vacation and doing a longer period. Something to look at, because it was just purely accidental that I found that.
Yeah.
So that's what we're looking at doing anyway. So we're going to rent a villa for 3 to 4 weeks, which just gives us time to go and find a rental property. Now,
so to that point, it means that going forward between now and when we go, we've got to start keeping a very close eye on the rental market.
Yeah.
So that we can keep an eye on the kinds of houses that are coming up, the current prices that they're coming up for, because sometimes when people list houses for rent, it might be that the house won't be available for 4 to 6 weeks, for example.
Yeah.
So if there's something we like that might not become available till the beginning of October, we're going to want to know that, because it might be worth us if it's a place in a location we really like and we can send our estate agent to go and have a look at it. She knows kind of things that we're looking for. If she goes and has a look around it and says, yeah, this could be a good bet, it might actually be worth us like kind of almost doing it in advance, ready to be able to move in when we get there, potentially.
Yeah.
So we just need to start being more aware of what's coming up on the rental market, what's going off, the kind of prices it's renting for, when they're available from, so that we're able to kind of get something ultimately that we're looking for.
Yeah, so this is where we're going to throw stuff back to you guys and ask some questions. So anybody who's done this themselves, there's a couple of things that I think we need to try and understand.
Yes.
One of them being is deposit amounts. So we've asked a couple of questions of other people, but it's been a bit of a mixed bag. What has been the expectation from the landlords, or whoever it is you're renting through,
on a long-term rental?
On a long-term rental basis, you're looking at 12 months. On a long-term rental basis, what has been the deposit requirements for somebody that's just transitioned from the UK?
With no credit history.
No credit history, no background there at all.
Yeah.
And limited information around them. What's been the experience? What have you guys found? Has it been tricky? Has it been difficult to do? Has it been a case of, no, as long as you've got 3 months deposit, they're happy? How has it worked?
Because the one example I've been given by somebody that's moved out there recently is that they had to put down 2 months' money, so effectively a month of deposit and the first month up front, but they offered to pay the entire 12-month lease up, in its entirety, if that was what was expected. The landlord said no, that was fine, but just the demonstration of the fact that they had the savings to be able to do that made them come across the landlord as a more favourable tenant. So they got the property over and above a number of other applications. So, so that's one example that we've been given. So it would be good to get some other examples from people that are there that have done this, that have rented in the first instance. What was the expectations from your landlords?
Yeah, and then the other question that I've thought about more recently is from an ID perspective. Now, when we come over, we're going to still have UK passports. We're going to have temporary green card stamped in the passports, which is the I-551, I think it's called. As we said, we're going to be potentially looking at renting a holiday let for 3 to 4 weeks. I'm not convinced potentially that we're going to have the green cards delivered to us by that point. We're actually going to the lawyers. I've already sort of scheduled that, but it may be that we haven't got the actual green cards turn up by that point. The other factor is social security numbers. Again, I'm not convinced that we're going to have those in that time period. Are they things that you need to rent? Are they the sort of things
that's something I never even thought about.
Yeah, it was something I thought about the other day. So is it something that you need? If it is, can anyone shed any light on how you potentially expedite that? Now, I know previously, I think I've seen something to the contrary of this more that's happened this year. But previously what used to happen was as soon as your visa gets stamped off at the London Embassy and you transition, you actually arrive in the United States, there's something that happens on the system that basically says they're here. And then what used to happen, and I forget what it's called, I've got it somewhere. If I have, I'll put some details on the screen.
Oh, it was an automatic thing about you could select, couldn't you?
It was automated. So on our DS260 forms, I have ticked the box to say that they will automatically generate the social security numbers. But I believe that I've seen something this year, probably March time, where that stopped happening. I can't remember why for the life of me. I may have saved the page. If I have, I'll link it in the chat or I'll put it on the screen somewhere to be able to show. But it basically said that they'd stopped it for a reason. I can't remember what it was. But they basically stopped it so it doesn't happen anymore. So you have to go through the same process as everybody else is, which you have to turn up to the Social Security office and go and try and get your SSN manually like everybody else does. I know that's an option that we could potentially do. But again, question, do we have to have our actual green card before we can get social security numbers? Can't find the information online anyway.
No. So we're looking for help.
Assistance. And then the other question I've got, which is a question that we've both got, is there's lots of you potentially on here that have done the move. What other things have you done early on, or what other things have you had to do the sort of day you get there or very early on when you get there to make the whole process a lot more seamless and a lot more streamlined? I know some friends of ours have said that driving licenses, your UK driving licence is only valid for 30 or 60 days or something. So you have to have done your Florida driver licence very, very early on. So that, again, if somebody can clarify what that time period is, that'd be good.
Healthcare will be another one. I did see some posts on one of the Facebook pages about the fact that somebody had queried that and they had bought like an extended travel insurance policy that lasted for, say, 60 days. But if you haven't transitioned over to like an actual medical insurance by that point in time, and you want to say go to the marketplace or whatever, they have certain windows of opportunity to get into that, and if you've missed it, then you might not.
Yeah, so that bit I know. There is for somebody that's moved there.
Yeah, you have a certain window.
Yeah, but there's a certain window for people to get health insurance.
Yeah.
Or I don't know when it is. I don't know what the dates are. But there's a window of opportunity for anybody who's currently in the States to get health insurance or to get on the marketplace and find health insurance in that window. But if you're moving in, you get like a buy. So,
okay.
Yeah, so you're just able just to get
Okay.
insurance. So there's a bit of a caveat to I've only just moved here.
Yeah.
But again, yeah, you're right. There might still be a window of the point in which
number
you
of
move
days.
there versus
Yeah.
your health insurance gets put in place. So that's something to.
Yeah, so if anybody's kind of, if you've used any insurance companies to get extended health insurance whilst you've been sorting out, finding like your long-term, what insurance companies have you used? And it would also be great for people out there that currently have American health insurance to, tell us the kind of companies that you're using, whether you use the marketplace, if you had to get it yourself, what companies if you've got a job out there that has medical insurance, what companies do they use? What's been your experience with those health insurance companies? It would be good to get some ideas on that.
Yeah. So we're probably going to have our health insurance through the company, our company. So it'd be good to have an understanding of what that looks like. If somebody knows, it'd be helpful.
What kind of your co-pays are and that kind of thing, and what levels of coverage. I know this is all very personal information, so obviously only if people are prepared to share, and if rather than putting in the comments below, you'd rather message us. We have a page on Facebook, which I know we don't tend to update very often, but it means that you can sort of like messenger us on Facebook. But we also have one on Instagram as well.
Which we'll put here.
Yeah, we'll put the handles for all of those in, so that if you would rather message us directly with that kind of information, then put it in the comments. At least that way we can give you an avenue, if you're prepared to share, to message us more privately.
Yeah. So rather than just bombarding you with stuff this week from our side, we're now asking you questions.
Lots and lots of questions, yes.
Yeah, no, obviously we've found some of the information, some of the questions I've just put out there, we've found
examples
random answers, but I'd rather hear it from the horse's mouth.
Yeah.
So to speak. People that are actually there, people that have done it, and what your experiences are. And again, like Sam's just said, we're not asking for personal information. It's just we had to kind of do this.
Yeah.
So just to give us an idea.
Yeah, because it's just now it's all becoming very real.
Yeah.
Very real, and it's like this.
I've got another one actually. I've got another one.
He's got another question.
CPAs.
Oh yeah.
If anybody in the Horizon West, Winter Garden, Windermere area has got, I suppose it doesn't really matter, does it? As long as it's in Florida. Any recommendations for good CPAs? Preferably ones that understand UK, US.
Yeah.
It's not a necessity, but it would be really good if we could have that, because we've still got a company here that's going to continue. So I would like to have somebody that understands both systems. So again, if anybody's got any recommendations for any good CPAs, I've got one already that I've been sort of kind of talking to. But yeah, be good to know if anybody on here watching us has got a good experience with any good CPAs.
Yeah. And then the other thing that now, as I said, it's all becoming very real, is like we now kind of have this window where we've got to try to cram as much time with friends and family in as possible.
Mm.
And I think...
Although I think your mum's planning on spending most of the rest of this year with us, so she'll be all right.
Yeah. But at the moment, there's going to be some family members that aren't going to be able to travel out to see us for a variety of reasons. And so we need to maximise opportunities of spending time with them, for them to spend time with the boys, for the boys to spend time with them, whether that be their friends, whether that be family. And I think that emotional side is going to start hitting a little bit now as well.
But we have talked about this. And
now you've got a window. Now there's sort of like this end point which hasn't really been there before. And a part of the driver for this window is that one of the opportunities that you're potentially looking at, kind of in an ideal world, could do with you there when we've said.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, there is almost an element of whilst we have some flexibility to some extent about when we go, this is kind of like it would be really ideal if you want to do what it is you want to do when you're there, that you're there in that moment.
Yeah.
And so it's giving us that, right, in an ideal world, we really need to be there by that point in time. So, yeah, we now only have this sort of 9 to 13 weeks to get as much family time in as possible. And I think that's been a bit of a reality check.
Yeah. I think we've talked about this, and we said, and again, if any of you can share your experiences, certainly people that have done it more recently, 20 years ago, when digital age was in its infancy, and the Facebook Messenger chat and WhatsApp video calling and all the other means of being able to communicate with people by video, like you guys are watching us now, it didn't exist. So I would imagine 20 plus years ago, moving away from family
was harder.
Was much, much harder, because the only way you were talking to them was on telephone calls, which back then was scandalously expensive.
Yeah.
We didn't have the sort of stuff we've got today to be able to make it free or very cheap. Being able to do face-to-face stuff, video calls, just wasn't a thing.
Yeah.
So I can imagine, and hats off to anybody that did this 20 years ago, because I'd imagine it was quite a traumatic experience not being able to have that connectivity. But obviously more now, it's far easier to do that. You don't get the physical touch.
No, and I think that's the thing. It's getting all those hugs in.
Yeah, and I don't like people anyway.
He's not a hugger. He's not really a hugger, but I'm a hugger.
Yeah, I'm not fussed. But yeah, so yeah, it's it's the swinging brick of ice in his chest that causes that actually. Yeah, so that's still something. I think it's a lot easier, because the ability to communicate with people and face-to-face video calling and stuff is a lot more easy. But it doesn't step away from the fact that you're not doing any physical presence.
Yeah.
But we do have plans to come back.
Of course we do, yeah.
A number of times through the year. As I've already mentioned earlier, we've got a company here that's going to continue running, so there might even be things I've got to come back for anyway. So we may tie that up with a family visit at the same time.
Which kind of alludes to another point. If anybody knows any really good dog sitting facilities out there,
I forgot about that.
Yeah, we're going to need somebody to look after the dogs to do that kind of thing.
Yeah, because I'm not paying for them to come with us.
Backwards and forwards all the time. No. As much as I would love to be able to do it that way, they would love the jet set lifestyle.
You better hope we're really successful and we can afford to buy a jet.
Yeah, Roxy is a proper princess. She would love
lording it up
on a private jet backwards and forwards, every 3 months or whatever. But yeah, that's not realistic. So yeah, if anybody knows any really good sort of dog sitting services, that would also be really helpful. But we can talk more about that in the months and hopefully years to come. But
although, judging by the prices that I've seen for various services out there, it might be cheaper to bring them back.
We've already said that about my hair. It might be cheaper to fly back and get my hair done at the normal hairdresser.
Now, we have spoke to the hairdresser, and she's completely up for flying out there.
She is, yeah.
Every 4 weeks to dye your hair. She's got no issues. We were looking at flights actually for your mum yesterday, because Sam's mum's looking at coming out to come and help us early stages.
Yeah.
So she can sort of support what we're doing out there.
And she'd also got designs on coming out for Christmas as
well. So we've been looking at those for flights, and because she's got flexibility in the dates and times that she can fly out there and fly back. We look at the various airlines, and you can just pick random dates, and she can kind of get a return flight in, I think it's early November, there and back 2 weeks, £500, which is unbelievable.
And I've heard that it's £500 to get your hair dyed. It's definitely
$500.
$500.
Yeah, but if we fly Steph out and back, she can do yours and ours. But if she stays for 4 weeks,
we get it done twice in that period, yeah.
And I'm sure she's not going to say no.
I'm sure.
Do you know what? That sounds really stupid, but can't sit there and go, actually.
Makes sense.
Yeah. I'm not so sure her family's going to want to go for 4 weeks. But,
no. But yeah, so, obviously. But yeah, that's obviously the things that we need to start thinking about now. Which is why I was saying it's all getting very real, and now things are going to start changing, going fast, rolling away, and the weeks, we're already into week 4 of the school holidays, and those 4 weeks, I don't know where they've gone. So,
well, if you put
that's kind of like nearly half of the time.
If you put into context, so it was the end of June when we had the expedite request fully approved, and the online platform switched to ready. Yeah, it's been 7 weeks.
Yeah, it's just gonna.
It's been 7 weeks since then, and it's like, what? Where's that time gone? Yeah.
Which is the reason why we got so much to do, and I want to make the most of this 9 to 13 weeks that we've got, because in a blink the time goes and you've not really done anything in that time. We've been saying for the 4 weeks of the school holidays that we were going to do stuff and we were going to spend some more time with family, and because of work commitments and stuff, we've not really done anything in these 4 weeks. We've had a couple of days out with the kids, but we've not really done anything else. And it's like, well, okay, right, now we need to get focused and make sure we're doing it. So for, when nannies and granddads come round, we're playing lots of Uno, pool in, and the kids' little...
Is it supposed to stay dry today?
Table. I think it's supposed to be dry, but a bit cloudy. We've got, so we're trying to do stuff like that so that when people come to visit, I don't know what your kids are like, but ours most of the time, especially when we're in the house, have got their own things that they do now in their bedrooms. They're not little anymore and so dependent on us that they're where we are. So they're playing their own things, obviously... Being boys and a bit older, they're very into their computer games and things like that. So even when we have visitors, a lot of the time, they're off doing their own thing. So we're having to sort of like make sure that we encourage them. And I don't mean in a mean way, but make them have this reality as well, that if you want to come and play Uno with nanny and granddads and nannies and do things with nannies, now is the time.
I'm going to add a little bit to that, to say that if you cherish your family, and you want to maintain positive relationships with your family, do not get Uno...
Oh, what is it called?
Crazy version, whatever it's called.
Oh, find the box.
Because people see my Grady Judd colouring book now.
I know, yeah.
If anybody knows, that man's a legend.
Sheriff Grady Judd.
I pretend I'm a legend. He's an actual legend. Anybody who doesn't know, this is Sheriff Grady Judd. He's the Polk County Sheriff. He's amazing. Go and search him out on YouTube. His videos are fantastic. He's a FAFO sheriff. I'm not going to repeat what that means, but if you know, you know. Cool.
Yeah. Yeah. If you value your family and friend relationships, this is not the game for you.
Do not get the No Mercy, because it's savage.
It is savage. And as much as you love your family and friends, you do want to take them out.
Now, if you like us, where all of us are competitive.
Very competitive when we play a game.
Grandad is competitive.
Yeah.
Grandad Des is competitive. Nanny
Lynn.
Nanny tries to be, but
she's very soft on the family members. Poor Grandad tends to be on the receiving end of as much of Nanny. So much so that Grandad now opts not to sit next to Nanny Lynn.
He actually sits the opposite end of the table.
He does, because Nanny makes him pay every time.
Finley is very competitive. Obviously, into his football, he likes to win.
Yeah.
Which is good. It's, that's why we're trying to bring him up. Strive to be first. And yeah, he used to get upset about it.
We've found this has been a great game for getting him over the losing thing.
Yes.
And not doing the kiddie strops.
So in actual fact, if you've got kids that are
sore losers, it's probably a good game. Especially trying to get them to a point where it's okay to lose once, but strive to win. That's the goal. It's okay to lose, but strive to win. First is first, and second is nowhere. That's the way to live life. Yeah. Finley operates.
That's how he operates.
He does operate in that way, very much so.
He does.
We have a lot of fun playing Uno in this house. We also have a lot of tears as well.
From you. Normally, when we've made you pick up 10.
Yeah.
Or 24 as it was the other day.
24 the other day, so I was out, that was it. Game over for me in like one hit. So yeah, it's a lot of fun. So we're making sure that we're doing lots of stuff like that. So we're having lots of laughs and lots of giggles, and we've done days out with Nanny Angel.
He's also had a chance to become a pool shark.
He has. So we bought the kids a while ago a little multi-play table thing, which has got pool table on it, air hockey. It's a little small now for us adults to play on it. It's very interesting. But Finley has picked up pool like he's been playing pool for blooming years. That kid, he can pick up a bat, a stick, whatever you want to call it.
Very sporty.
He is very sporty, so he's going to do very well in America.
Yeah, and we don't let him win. I don't let him win.
I'll let him get away with a couple of things in a game, and then, but we also don't let him win everything. And let him get away with everything that he does.
I'll make a point of Mummy's soft. I don't let him win anything.
Yeah.
I win, and every time he says I'm not playing Daddy, he wins all the time. No, come on, keep trying.
Jacob, we kind of have struggled a little bit to get him involved, but that's the nature of Jacob, really. But he's starting to entertain the idea of the fact that we need to do more of this sort of like in the same room sort of stuff.
He's also getting very clever.
He is very clever. So, he is strategic and competitive, but in a very quiet and soft way.
It's like you. Things like me. Let's just go for it.
Yeah.
You're more educated. You try to plan the attack rather than just going straight for it. So much so that we've got family control on our Wi-Fi. So obviously, mainly to prevent them seeing things they shouldn't be seeing.
Also to make sure that when we go to sleep, they don't wake themselves up and go and play on their computers through the middle of the night.
So at 10 p.m. every night, every device that the kids have got access to kills the internet to them. And that's almost right back to the box on the wall type internet. So it's not like they can frig it and go and do anything with it. However, Jacob has realised that our PCs don't have those restrictions.
No.
So... and he's also realised if he turns off his Wi-Fi on his phone, his 5G works. So he's fathomed that out himself, and his brother dogged on him last night and found out that he was hiding under his blanket in his bed.
Watching his phone.
Watching Star Wars videos on YouTube. So,
you know what it's like when you've got a younger sibling. If you're doing anything you shouldn't be, they will totally dob you in.
Well, is that what your sister does to you? Or the other way around? Or was it you dobbing your sister in?
To be perfectly honest, it probably was the other way around, because I am very much, if there's a rule, you follow the rule. And I thought Jacob was like that till last night.
Yeah, he's a snake, that one.
So yeah, but yeah, so that's just even more of a funny insight into the families going on in our household. So yes, that is kind of where we are. Lots of questions to you.
Yeah, anything you can help with, by all
An
means.
update
Again,
from us.
if it's personal details, or if there's any of the answers that you would be willing to share with us, if you feel like it might be a bit personal, you're willing to share with us, but you don't want the world to see, by all means, share
Message
it
us, as we said, on
Instagram,
Facebook. Yeah, be very grateful of just recommendations, your insights, any tips that you can give us now that we're at this sort of stage. I mean, obviously we know it's not a guarantee yet. We're very much not doing anything that's fixed, that's going to cost us money that we can't get back. Until we've had that interview date. We're very realistic about that. But yeah, we're in that it's go stage.
Yeah. It's exciting.
It is. So plenty for you to see. And we need to go, because we need to go and sort out that dressing room. Because the countdown is on.
I swear I've done this like 3 times and my wardrobe looks no thinner.
Exactly. So we've got a lot to sort out. So if you've made it to the end of this video, because it is very much a longer one today, thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much to everybody that is following along with our journey and comes back every week to hear us jibber jabber on. We really, really appreciate every single one of our followers, one of our subscribers. And if you're just watching these videos and you haven't yet subscribed, we'd be really grateful if you could subscribe.
Make sure you give it a like.
Yeah, hit the notification button so that you know categorically every time a video comes out that you're going to hear about it first. And thank you. A big thank you from us, all of us.
Absolutely.
And so with that, we will see you on our next video. Bye for now.